Good afternoon. I remembered it's afternoon and not morning. Happy Wednesday. I don't know what day it is still. I am alternate juror, also known as AJ, and thank you for joining me. I will say hi to Gabby, although I've already talked to Gabby today. She's going to be on standby for me because it's really windy here today, and I live by a lot of trees. So that means my power has a really high chance of going out sometime. And if it does and I can't get back on here, Gabby can shut my stream down and at least let everyone know that my power went out. So she's lurking in the background. Hello, Tracy. I hope you are feeling better and hasn't hit the rest of your family. This stuff is ugh. Hey, Flash Van. How you doing? What's on the menu today? You and Bon, I could just live through your guys' food, whatever you're eating. I'd never have to eat again. All right, so we are going to continue on with Miss Aileen Wuornos. We saw, who did we see? I wrote it down and then I forgot. We saw some investigators, a detective, a pawn shop worker. I don't think she owned it. I think she was just working there. Daniel Radcliffe, not to be confused with Harry Potter. And the forensic pathologist. So we watched all of those people on Monday. Today, we are going to see two crime lab. I will learn to speak one of these days, but not today, probably. Two crime lab analysts and a firearms examiner, which the firearms examiner will be kind of interesting because of that science is being debunked all the time. And some states aren't even using it anymore to some things that I have read about them. And the comparisons and stuff they make. I don't know enough about it. I can't get into it, but I don't know that there's a whole lot to say that she didn't do what they said she did because she said she did it. Her thing is she claims to unaliving 7 men, and she claims it was all self-defense. So, whatever. I don't think so. I don't know. We've not really got to her part. Friday, her girlfriend will be on the stand. I think her name is Tyra or Tyree. I'm not sure more. So she will be on the stand on Friday, and I am looking forward to her testimony to see what she has to say. Flash Fan's eating a Hot Pocket. Be careful. Carmen was eating a Hot Pocket when she was talking to me on the phone the other day, and it did what Hot Pockets do. She took a bite and then burned the crap out of her mouth. Not laughing that it burned her. Just that's what Hot Pockets do. Like pizza rolls. They are made to torture you because they're delicious. Hey Adair, how you doing? Hope you're not getting this wind that I'm getting today. It's very windy outside. Yeah, it's yeah, firearm stuff. I can't I don't know enough about it to really speak on it. I just know what I've heard and read other people that do know about it say. Yes, the middle of a Hot Pocket is always cold. It's because you need it to heal the burns in your mouth. I did see the movie. Whoops. I did see the movie a long time ago. I actually saw it in theaters. It's a really long time ago. I Charlize Theron, or however you say her name, they make her over. That was she was good. I think it was good. I don't know. But anyway, that's the plan to get us through the rest of this week. Sylvester Stallone, Charlize Theron, Charlize Theron. I don't know. Not Sylvester Stallone. He could have. She does kind of have manly features. Aileen, not Charlize. Sylvester the cat. Meow. All right, that's enough of that. Behave. No closed captionings on this one. Surprise, but I do believe there is closed captionings for what we watch on Friday. I don't make the rules. All right, give me the play button.
Full name and place of employment.
My name is William H. Schwob, Jr. I'm also known as Ward, and I work at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement at the Tallahassee Regional Crime Laboratory in Tallahassee.
And sir, how long have you been associated with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Approximately 10 years.
And what capacity do you currently work for the Department of Law Enforcement?
I work as a crime laboratory analyst in the crime scene section.
Were you working in that capacity on January the 14th, 1991?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. And can you tell us a little bit about what some of your duties are and what they have been as of January 14th, 1991, and your job-related duties?
Okay. I'm primarily responsible for processing crime scenes, or the areas where crimes occurred, for some of the local agencies up in the Tallahassee region. Additionally, we can be called to any part of the state to render assistance to the local agencies in the processing of crime scenes.
And did you in fact conduct a search pursuant to a search warrant on January 14th, 1991?
Yes, sir, I did.
And can you tell ladies and gentlemen of the jury what your duties were that day and how that search was conducted?
That search, the search was of a storage unit at 1104 North Nova Road. I was responsible for seizing the items within the storage unit, doing a complete inventory and documenting that seizure.
All right, sir, may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
So let me show you what have been now marked for identification purposes. It states double K and double J identification. Let me ask you if you're able to recognize those photographs.
Yes, sir, I can recognize these.
If so, how are you able to recognize them and when were they taken?
These were taken prior to our opening the storage unit. One photograph, number JJ, actually has me in the picture. The other photograph shows the outside of the actual locker itself prior to our opening it.
Are you able to recognize any of the other individuals you described in the picture, if there are anyone else?
Yes, sir. There are two other persons within the picture. I recognize one holding a video camera as being Larry Horzepa of Volusia County.
All right, sir. Do you recognize the other individual?
I believe it's kind of hard to see, but I believe it's Bernie Busher of Volusia County also.
Also a deputy?
Yes, sir.
Did they assist you in conducting the search of the storage unit you described?
Yes, sir, they did.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would also state KJ, KK as evidence.
Your Honor, we have an opportunity to view the photographs.
Yes, indeed.
Your Honor, at this time, we object on the basis we're on.
See the item. Objection overruled. That item to proceed and marked down by the proper number.
The state exhibit 24 and 25.
Mr. Schwob, when you arrived at the storage unit, can you describe the condition of the door before, as you arrived on the outside of the unit?
Well, the very outside of the unit, there was a doorway entering a hallway. On one side of the hallway was a series of storage bins, smaller bins. The particular storage unit we were in, or locker we were interested in, was number 43J. It had a wooden door which was secured by a padlock and hasp, and the padlock was locked.
Was the door secured to that storage bin?
Yes, sir.
And did there come a point in time where you opened the door and then began collection and inventory of the contents that were within it?
That's correct.
And the state's 25 in evidence, a fair and accurate representation of the condition of the door marked G as you saw it on that day.
Yes, sir, it is.
And states 24 in evidence, is that a fair and accurate representation of the storage area that you arrived at to conduct the search of 43G, the storage area within?
Yes, sir, it is.
If I may approach the witness again.
Yes, sir.
So let me show you what has been marked for identification purposes, states Y in evidence. After you're able to recognize that.
Yes, sir, I can.
So can you tell, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, where that object was recovered?
This object was recovered from within the storage unit, within a container within the storage unit. This was in a brown Borden milk crate.
The milk crate that you described, I have a picture in my mind of what a milk crate would be. Is this something that has grates that you can kind of see into the contents?
Yes, sir.
Were we able to see this object from a viewing before you had to shovel anything in there?
Yes, sir. It was visible from the top of the crate.
And what, if anything, did you do with states Y for identification after you obtained it?
This particular item was included on my inventory list. At that point, it gets turned over to individual people within the lab for specific processing.
And based upon your knowledge of working within the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, can you tell if there was any type of processing done to states Y for identification?
Yes, sir. It appears that processing was done to obtain latent fingerprints off of it.
How are you able to make that determination based upon your experience and knowledge in working crime scenes and within your department?
Well, there is a gray powder residue on there which indicates that it's either gray fingerprint powder or a super glue process. Additionally, I recognize the initials of one of our latent print examiners on the item.
Now, did you conduct a further search of the storage bin on January 14th and recover other articles?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me direct your attention in particular, sir, to exhibit number 5 on your report. All right, sir. Can you describe to the jury with regard to any items of personal identification within a brown wallet that you recovered that day, if you remember?
Yes, sir. The whole container itself was a white and gray igloo cooler. Within the cooler, there was a yellow plastic bag. And within that plastic bag was a brown wallet. Within the wallet were several items or personal items of identification, such as a driver's license receipt, a Florida driver's license, and numerous other items with names on them.
Please, the court, may I approach? Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This item has my case number, which I wrote on it. Let me take one, seal the bag up. The record reflects that issue number 5 is that I was in open court before the jury, with the counsel being present.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and find the The records reflect, Your Honor, the counsel and I have stipulated the opening of this bag at this time, and I'm going to cut through the evidence station. The exhibit number 5, marked by Mr. Schwob and opened in open court, and place them into a new plastic bag and return the remainder of the contents back into the evidence bag. Your Honor, while counsel is inspecting the contents, and the record reflect that we moved from Mr. Schwab's exhibit number 5, which is previously marked Madam Clerk, the, has not been much of a good one. He has removed what would be, I believe, a plastic garbage bag. Would you like to open it this time?
Yes, sir.
If I may, just while counsel is doing that, you recognize the bag, sir?
Yes, I do.
Was this taken by you on January 14th, part of the search process?
Yes, it was.
The record will reflect that now opening the bag on the court. And ask the witness to remove the article from it. Can you take that as a motion? Just so the record will be clear, I'm now placing the items I previously described as personal identification into a new plastic container having been removed from the exhibit. That the witness is identified as having been removed from the storage bin 43G on January the 14th of this year, 1991.
You want these marked for identification?
Yes, sir.
And they are, LL.
So we ask also, Your Honor, that the composite exhibits be marked at this time.
It's kind of weird. The lawyer's opening all the evidence. We're used to nowadays seeing the crime lab person opening. This is my seal. That's my signature. This is how I know this, and blah, blah, blah. Also, here's my gloves that I have on. And the lawyer's just standing over there, I'm just cutting through the evidence tape. Here we go. Whatever. Flashman, Florida has some weird people. No offense, people in Florida. Your state is wonderful. You just do have some weird cases, and yeah. I know it's a different time period. It's just so funny now, because now watching people open stuff, it's like, oh, they didn't change their gloves. Or you get people that double glove, and they're just like, here it is. Oh, I licked the envelope and put it back. I know it's a different time. It's just weird watching it. Also, the defense keeps, I know, like Flashman, you said that people thought that the judge was unfair to the defense. I haven't seen it yet, but they keep objecting over relevance of things that are relevant. I mean, I guess when you don't have much of anything, you just throw something and see if it'll stick. But every like picture or anything, they're like objection relevance. That's like, no. So I have not seen, maybe once they start presenting their evidence, maybe we'll see that bias in the judge. So far, I'm not seeing much of anything. In the Menendez trial, Leslie Eberson handled a bloody shirt with her bare hands. That's on her. That's on her. Yikes.
As states MM at this time, Your Honor, for identification purposes. And also let the record reflect that this article was removed at the same time as coming from a plastic bag contained within exhibit number 5 of Mr. Schwob's exhibit, as his exhibit. All right, sir. Name you.
For identification, let that be marked.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Schwob, let me show you what has been previously marked in open court for identification. It states double L for identification. I ask you if you're able to recognize the contents of states double L for identification.
Yes, sir, I recognize these.
And how are you able to recognize them, sir?
They match the exhibit descriptions, which I did when completing my inventory. One particular item has the same social security numbers and the same names as what I recorded when I did my inventory.
So were those items removed from the locked storage bin by you
Yes, sir.
on January 14th, 1991?
Yes, sir.
So let me show you what the mark is states double M for identification as a composite exhibit. I ask you if you can inspect that item and tell me whether or not you recognize it. And you can feel free to open the bag with the court's permission.
Yes, sir, I recognize this. This is the wallet, which I referred to in my inventory list.
All right, so were the contents of that wallet, were there any objects?
Yes, sir.
And what, if any, objects were contained therein?
Within the wallet itself, there's a Florida driver's license.
Can you describe for the court the name of the, on the driver's license?
Objection relevant to.
It's not in evidence yet, is it?
No, it is not yet. I'll walk
No,
down.
don't answer the question.
Do you recognize the object that you removed from the wallet that was found within the storage shed?
Yes.
Okay, sir. At this time, Your Honor, the state would offer space double L and double M for identification purposes as state's evidence.
Your Honor, we would object on the basis of relevance.
That the items be received and marked with evidence by the department.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And this states exhibit 26 and 27.
Your Honor, may these objects be published to the jury at this time?
I'm gonna guess the license is gonna have Richard Mallory's name on it, the
Yeah,
victim.
maybe published.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, for the record, I reflect, I'm start with the first alternate unit to the right, and then to the left and back row. Your Honor, may I also publish the photographs? Yes, sir. Where do you want? Here?
This is cross-examination. They didn't say it.
Isn't it, Mr. Schwob or Schwob?
Schwob.
Schwob, okay. Mr. Schwob, I only have a couple of questions for you. The items which were just published to the jury by Mr. Komar, those items were found in the brown leather wallet, is that correct?
Some of the items were, yes.
There was another item that was not shown to the jury that was found in that brown leather wallet, was there not?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. If counsel wishes to publish anything within this exhibit, he has had ample opportunity to do so.
Objection to the speaking objection, Your Honor.
Objection overruled. But I mean, your objection is overruled about speaking. I agree with you. If he wants to display something, he's very welcome to go get the bag.
My objection, Judge, is the attempt to say that the state's trying to hide something. It's
Sorry,
here,
no
the jury's
further
office, say
necessary.
anything
No
they
further
want.
necessary. Okay, this is done. Go ahead.
Your Honor, may I approach proof?
No, oh, witness, yes, you might.
Oh, no, sir, I meant
About
Your
me.
Your Honor, I just need clarification on the ruling.
Sure.
Am I permitted to discuss the item which I am speaking of without any further
But
reference
please
to
let the
Mr.
witness
Komar?
have about talking with the attorney.
No, sir, I mean, to ask further questions of the witness.
Certainly you can.
As I was stating, there was another item in that wallet, was there not?
Yes, sir.
And that item was in fact a driver's license receipt for Tyra Moore, correct?
That's correct.
I have no further questions.
Please, the court will offer the driver's license certificate of Tyra Moore. Counsel, welcome.
So Tyra Moore is the girlfriend. Did you see her face? Aileen looked kind of like, was that in there? I think that's going to be their defense, is they're going to try to place her into that she was there, she was involved, or she did it.
To do it if you'd like it. It's part of our case.
Your Honor, I object to that.
Your Honor,
You're offering it into evidence, lay the proper predicate for it.
I'll do some digging if I may, Judge, again.
All right, sir.
Now, are there any other items you'd like?
Your Honor, I object to Mr. Moore continuing at this time.
He has the right to be direct, and I'm giving him that opportunity.
I'm objecting to his comments to me.
All right, that's your remarks to the
Yes, sir. Your Honor, may the witness come down again? I'm sorry, sir, not right here. Let's mark this as Let me show you, sir, what's been marked as states exhibit double N. Ask you if you're able to recognize that document. See, those documents and the contents of the bag.
Your Honor, I object to anything other than the document on the top of that bag. Anything else is beyond the scope of cross.
Right. You want to take the item out to refer to.
Correct, sir. Judge, please the court not to waste the court's time. I'll have no further questions of this witness subject to being allowed to recall him.
That's fine.
This time, Judge State recalls Agent Ward Schwob.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, just for the record, would you tell the jury your name, please?
William H. Schwob Jr.
Sir, let me show, I'm sorry.
He just recalled him, but he never left the stand. What happened? I don't know what just happened there. I didn't see a break. And okay. They're going to argue over this. Yes, I am streaming. She's going to have to wait. Oh, she's got a horrible grandma. What can I say? We'll talk in a little bit. I got to get that thing together that I ordered for her. So I haven't taken it out of the box because it's a little daunting. All right. I'm not sure what just happened. But the state just recalled the guy that's on the stand that never left the stand. And we're still fighting over whatever the thing is in the wallet. And also, Flashman, I don't know that I think that he's being harsh, more harsh with the defense attorneys, because it seemed like they were trying to pull some stuff there. They didn't have it entered. It wasn't entered into evidence. And then they start asking about it without entering it into evidence, what they have objected to every time the state tries to put anything in evidence. So I don't know.
I'm also known as Ward.
I'm sorry I keep calling you Ward. That's how I know you. Would you tell us if you were able to recognize state's double entry identification?
Yes, sir, I am.
And where did you obtain the contents of state's double entry identification?
Some of the contents of this plastic bag were within the yellow plastic bag. Some other items were within the wallet, also in the yellow plastic bag.
Now, there's been some discussion in the court about a registration in the name of Tyree Moore. You see that within state's double entry identification? That's the registration. Let me make sure I'm describing it. It looks like an application for an operator's driver's license.
Yes, sir.
All right, so where was that found?
That was found within the wallet.
And that was found where the driver's license of the individual known as Blahovic is also found?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Now, the other objects that are contained within state's double entry, where were they located?
They were all within the yellow plastic bag.
And did it, if you would, sir, of course, may I allow him to open that up?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if you would please inspect those items.
Yes, sir.
say. I'm kind of liking the back and forth with the attorneys. It's not appropriate, but it's funny.
We just asked you, so the items are contained in this case double N for identification. In fact, those items are various personal.
Objection as to relevance, Your Honor.
Let me see the items. Let's restrict our conversations to this item
Hey, remember when I said this was moving along more efficiently than they do nowadays? I take that back.
right here.
But I just attempt to show the relevancy of those items as in context.
The others,
Yes, sir, just by question.
let's, for this purposes here, stay with this right here.
All right, sir. The one object found within the brown purse that had the driver's license with a picture of the defendant on it with the name.
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection overruled, go ahead.
Also had the pink slip for the driver's license, the name of Tyree Moore, did not.
That's correct.
And there were other items of personal identification of other named people also found.
Objection, Your Honor, relevant.
Objection overruled.
Isn't that true, sir?
Could you repeat the question?
There were other items of other personal identification and background of other individuals also found during your search of that bin and that container.
That's correct.
They were all within the locked, sealed storage bin
Yes, sir.
when you made the inventory and the search.
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing.
Are you offering this?
No, sir, but if the defense counsel wishes to.
All right.
May I recall?
Sir, thank you.
The document containing the name Tyra Moore that was found in the wallet, was it not?
That's correct.
The other items which Mr. Moore alluded were not found in that wallet, were they?
The paperwork itself
Yes, sir.
or the license, the operator's registration?
I'm speaking of Mr. Moore's comment about the other individuals.
Yes, that was not found in the wallet. Those
Thank you.
items were not.
Any further?
No, sir.
May the witness be excused.
Subject to further recall, Your
All
Honor.
right, sir, if you will,
Yeah, proceed, Your Honor.
be inquired.
Sir, would you state your name, your profession, and your education background?
Donald Champagne. I was employed by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement yesterday as a firearms examiner. I'm presently retired. I was with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for 23 and a half years.
Is your retired good standing?
Yes, sir.
Sir, tell the jury what you've done for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement over the years.
As a firearms examiner, I was required to examine bullets and cartridge cases to determine whether or not they were fired from and in a particular weapon. I was required to examine clothing and tissue to determine the distance at which a shot is fired. I was required to examine weapons for their mechanical and functioning condition, among other things.
All right, sir. And can you tell the judge and the jury what your education, training, and background is in the field of firearms examination and comparison?
Prior to coming to Florida, I was a member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for 20 years. 15 of those years were spent as a firearms examiner. During that time, I took an intensive 2-year training course in firearms identification, after which I wrote qualifying examinations on the subject.
Have you been qualified as an expert in the field of firearms examination in the criminal courts of the state of Florida?
Yes, sir.
And have you testified as an expert?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the court how many times?
I can't tell you how many times in the state of Florida, but altogether it's something over 730 times.
Your Honor, please, we would offer Mr. Champagne, expert in the fields of firearms identification and comparison.
You may order.
No, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, do you have another specialty field in which you've been qualified as an expert, which may be relevant to your testimony here today?
Yes, part of my work included tool mark comparisons, that is, trying to identify a particular tool with marks that may have made at various crime scenes, also serial number restorations.
All right, sir. And have you been trained in that field and also qualified as an expert testifying in court? And if so, answer each of those questions, I guess, separately.
Yes, sir, for all the questions.
If you tell just briefly what your background and training was in the field of tool mark identification.
It paralleled firearms identification. Firearms identification is a specialized form of tool mark identification. The same basic principles are involved in the process, except that you have different tools involved where the firearm is a tool that marks the cartridge components that pass through it. In tool marks, we have other kinds of tools like wire cutters or chisels, screwdrivers. They also make individual identifying marks on the objects that they're used on. And in that way, you have parallel as far as the tool marks. And
Your Honor, I would also ask the court to recognize Ms. Champagne as expert in that specialty.
You mean Gordon Dyer?
No, no.
May I have just a moment? Just a moment. Can I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Sir, did you have occasion to apply your training and skills in the field of firearm identification, comparison, and tool mark comparisons in homicide case involving Mr. Mallory?
Yes, sir. Firearms identification.
All right, sir. I would ask you to look at State's Exhibit 19-1, 2, and 3, and ask if you recognize those photographs, those items already in evidence.
I haven't seen these photographs before, but they depict a weapon that I did do some examination on.
All right, sir. I would ask you to look at State's Exhibit 20 and ask if you recognize it.
Yes, sir. This is a 22 caliber 9-shot high standard 9 revolver that has my tag on it with my file number, initials, and date on it. The date I received it was January the 22nd, 1991. The weapon also has my exhibit number and my initials on it.
All right, sir. And can you tell the jury whether or not the pistol which you've just looked at, number 20, appears to be the same pistol identified by the pictures of the rusty pistol 21, 1 through 3?
Yes, it appears to be.
And that's the way the pistol appeared when you received it, and then you cleaned it up.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. Did you remove anything from the pistol? And can you tell the jury how you went about first cleaning up its exterior and then whether or not you determined it was loaded?
Well, the weapon was very badly rusted and deteriorated when I received it. Of course, it took a lot of soaking in solvents and physically cleaning the weapon, using penetrating oil to get the mechanism to work, and opening the cylinder of the weapon. And I found that it was loaded with 7 unfired cartridges.
Roger, I would ask you to look at State's Exhibit EE for identification and ask if you can identify the contents.
Yes, sir. This is a plastic bag that has my file number on it. I have a notation on the bag, removed from revolver by DEC, which is me. Those are my initials.
And you removed those cartridges from the revolver about which you just testified and identified?
Yes, sir. There's 7 of them here.
All right, sir, can you tell the jury about the operation of that pistol, the loaded capacity and the type of projectile it's designed to expel, and the type of cartridge you found in?
Well, this is known as a double 9, which means that it holds 9 cartridges in the cylinder. It's also known as a convertible. You can replace this cylinder with another one that will also fire 22 Winchester Magnum cartridges. The cartridges that we have here are 22 long rifle caliber cartridges.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about 22 long rifle cartridges and their characteristics?
Well, they're a small caliber cartridge that's used primarily for target shooting and plinking, and can be used on small animals.
All right, sir, in your experience in testifying in forensic cases, is that type of weapon ever used to kill people?
Objection, Your Honor.
From your experience, may testify.
Yes, it's one of the types of pistols that are used most often.
One of the type of pistols used most often.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say type pistol, but the caliber of weapon is the type that is most often used. 22 caliber.
22 caliber kills most people.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Yeah, in my experience, yes, they do kill a lot of people.
All right, sir. Did you have occasion to receive any spent cartridges in connection with this case? And I'd ask you to look at State's Exhibit number 21.
This is a plastic bag that has my file number, initials, and date on it, and the date is January the 25th, 1991, and it's noted on here that it's submission number 7.
All right, so we've opened it from the side already. Previous witness testified about the containers and the contents.
This contains 4 film holders, each of which has my initials on it and the file number. Each film holder contains 1 fired bullet in 22 caliber.
All right, sir. Would you go back to the unfired cartridges first and tell the jury all identifiable characteristics and nomenclature of those cartridges?
These are known as CCI brand 22 caliber hollow point Stinger cartridges.
And do you know the approximate range of those cartridges?
Well, they're dangerous within a mile.
And with regard to the fire projectiles, just the lead, did you tell the jury characteristics as they may compare to the unfired with regard to make or manufacture?
They're the same brand and the same type of bullet.
Use the nomenclature was PPI Stinger?
CCI.
CCI Stinger.
Yes.
All right, sir.
Hollow points.
Did you attempt, when you say a hollow point, can you describe to me what that indicates?
There's a cavity in the nose of the bullet, and this facilitates the expansion of the bullet so that it, when it strikes something harder than itself, it will increase its diameter. Makes it more effective.
You say more effective, you mean more deadly if fired at a living object?
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
And would it make a greater wound in living tissue than a solid one?
It could, depending on what it strikes. So some of them will go into soft tissue and not expand. If they strike bone, they will. it's variable.
Did you have occasion to examine the spent projectiles to determine if they exhibited any characteristics indicating the type and make and/or other identifiable characteristic of firearms that they may have been fired from?
Yes, I looked at these and compared them one with the other on a comparison microscope. And comparison microscope is simply two compound microscopes mounted on under a prismatic bridge with a binocular eyepiece. And looking into the eyepiece, you see the left-hand side of the left field and you see the right-hand side of the right field. We take two physically separated objects and mount them on the stages and bring them together optically through the prismatic bridge. So the first examination I conducted was trying to determine the make and type of weapon involved. And in doing that, I compared each one of the fired bullets, the four, one with the other. I found that I could not identify one with the other because of extensive damage to each of the bullets and poor engraving on each of the bullets. I did find that they were fired from a weapon rifled with 6 grooves with a right-hand twist. Now that is what we call class characteristics, and they are determined by the manufacturer. He has control over them. When a manufacturer makes a weapon, he determines how many lands and grooves he's going to have in the barrel, and the dimensions of those lands and grooves, and the direction of twist. So that I was able to determine that they were all fired from a 6-right weapon. I could not tell whether it was a revolver or a pistol or a rifle at that time.
All right, sir. Were you able to determine anything with regard to the comparison between each of the four? Did each of the four appear to have been fired from the same or a similar firearm?
They were fired from a weapon having the same class characteristics of rifling, but I could not identify one with the other.
And this was because they were deformed or expanded?
There was damage to the bullets, and they were poorly engraved to start with.
Right. Is that unusual with 22 caliber projectile?
No, it isn't.
John, please, we would offer the live projectiles were taken from the pistol. Yes, counsel. Yes, sir. And that would be exhibits E for identification.
Counsel,
No objection.
that the item be received and marked, and that was by the proper number.
That's exhibit number 28.
We have no further questions to it, John. Thank you.
May inquire, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I please report, counsel? Good morning.
Good morning.
You testified that 22s kill a lot of people on direct examination. Is that right?
In my experience, yes.
Okay. 38s kill a lot of people too, don't they?
Yes, they do.
45s kill a lot of people.
Yes.
9mm kill a lot of people.
Yes.
AK-47s kill a lot of people.
22 caliber bullets probably kill more than any other.
Okay. It's
Caliber.
more common,
Yes.
more commonly used.
They're a cheaper weapon and more easily obtained in that respect.
And 22s are used for target shooting,
Yes.
killing small animals.
Oh, yes.
I understand your testimony. Your conclusion was that the bullets that were submitted to you were little or no identification value. Is that correct?
Yes.
And therefore, you could not determine what weapon they were fired from.
No, that's not correct. That's, in examining the bullets themselves, I was not able to identify them one with the other as having come from the same weapon. But the class characteristics of rifling were the same.
Okay, how many weapons are in a particular class? You defined that among
Well, the 6 screws of the right-hand twist is a fairly popular style of rifling, and there are many weapons, different brands, not just this particular brand, that have basically the same class characteristics of rifling.
You can't say with any degree of scientific certainty that these bullets were fired from the weapon that was submitted to you, isn't that correct?
That's correct, yes.
One moment, please.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Thank you very much.
Mr. Tanner?
Hey, at least he was honest. He knew the limitations of his field. Good for him. Yes, Gabby wants that dress. And don't make fun. It was in back in 92. We had stuff. It wasn't very
No
pretty.
further question, Your Honor.
You need to keep the witness or maybe discharged.
May he be discharged, Your Honor. I understand that he and his wife were traveling. Retirement began last night.
Any objection? No way to argue.
Thank you.
You are under the rule that you're not to discuss your testimony with people.
Yes, sir.
So your next witness, or
Your Honor, may we publish some evidence? That takes quite a while usually, and that would take about 15 minutes, and it may take us up to lunch hour. Thank you.
publish what?
Well, there have been quite a few items that I have introduced through witnesses that I would like to have published. The photographs at the bridge, the rusty firearm, and that's the pistol itself.
Haven't those been viewed by the jury?
No, sir, I did not
All
publish.
right. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Counsel, are we at an argument stage now?
No, sir, we are quite away from that.
All right, well, do we have another witness available for afternoon? So we can run the jury to about 12:30, you let the rest.
We have one en route from Orlando, and I don't know whether she has arrived yet. With the state cutback in funds, they didn't have a state car for her this morning. Most of my staff got here.
Wards have never been a furnished car. Go ahead and publish the items.
Thank you, Judge.
Keep an eye out for her to make sure that she arrives. I'd like to take one more witness before we recess.
Yes, sir. While we're publishing, I'll step into the hall if I may.
All right.
Okay, that's different. They're handing them, it's been in salt water. I think it's all rusty, but they're actually handing them the firearm instead of just in a, like nowadays, it's in a box. Here it is. Don't get to touch it. Hopefully they don't make us wait 15 minutes. I don't think they're going to. But that was weird.
Thank you, Clark.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would Your Honor consider asking the jury to look up for just a moment? We just have one question.
All right. But if you can stop your view for just a moment. Yeah.
Mr. Champagne, with regard to the class characteristics in the pistol which you examined, which is in evidence, how did that compare to the class characteristics of the fired projectiles?
They were the same. I failed to mention that, but they are the same.
I failed to ask you. Thank you.
Counsel, you may inquire.
Just one question, but there are other grants within that class, is that true?
Oh, yes, yes.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Champagne.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor, sorry.
Can you go for real?
Thank you.
All right. As soon as the jury has completed their review, we will be in recess. Ms. Walters, are you ready to make your speech?
Oh, thank you.
All right. I'll give it to you again.
Please, the court. And would you state your name, please, your occupation, and your training and experience that qualify you for that occupation?
Susan M. Komar, Komar. I'm a crime laboratory analyst with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement located in Orlando. I began my training in firearms and tool marks identification with the state of Illinois in September of 1967. I underwent a period of training under the supervision of Joseph D. Nickel. The training included reading materials, examination of firearms, fired bullets, cartridge cases, shotgun shells, other ammunition components, examination and comparison of these items to determine whether or not they were fired from a particular firearm in question. Training also involved the examination of bullet holes, clothing items to determine whether or not gunshot residue patterns were present on the clothing. If such a pattern is present, a determination of the distance at which the shot was fired and approximation of the distance can be made by reproducing that type of pattern. I remained with the Illinois Bureau of Identification for 10.5 years. I then joined the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, where I stayed for 3 years, again doing firearms and tool marks examinations. I've been here with Florida for 2.5 years.
Have you ever been qualified to testify as an expert, as a crime lab analyst, and particularly in the field of firearms and tool mark identification with its contemporaneous field of study concerning and dealing with gunshot residue on clothing from a fired weapon?
Yes.
How many times have you been qualified to testify as such an expert?
Approximately 135 times.
Your Honor, please, we would tender the witness as an expert in her field.
Counsel, you may inquire.
No.
No questions. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you have occasion to examine clothing and perform tests in connection with the investigation of the homicide of Richard Mallory?
Yes, I did.
Right. And can you tell this jury first, just step by step, what you did with regard to clothing and any analyses and conclusions you reached?
I examined a short-sleeved sport shirt, which had a considerable amount of decomposition fluid soaked into the material. I was examining the shirt for the presence of possible bullet holes and then examining it to determine whether or not there were any gunpowder patterns present around any holes that I might find. In examining the shirt, I found that there were multiple holes in the front area of the shirt, 2 in the right collar, 2 in the chest, 2 under the right arm, and 1 in the back of the right arm. Most of these holes, that being the 1 in the collar, the 2 in the chest, and the 1 on the back of the right sleeve, each of those holes had a few powder particles around them. I received a firearm sometime later, which I then examined to determine that it was safe to fire. I fired distances using this firearm. I fired specific distances, 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, observing the target material to determine at which point powder particles would no longer be deposited on the target material. I found that when I was out to 6 feet from the muzzle of the gun to the target material, gunpowder residues were no longer found on the target material. From these tests in comparison to the shirt, I was able to determine that the shots fired into the shirt were fired at a distance less than 6 feet.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
First, I would, Ms. Komar, ask you to look at the state's exhibit 23 and ask if you recognize the shirt.
Yes, it has my initials and our case number.
Is this the shirt about which you just testified?
Yes, it is.
And I would ask you to look at state's exhibit 20. Ask if you will examine that firearm, please.
It also has our case number and my initials on the barrel.
Is that the firearm about which you just testified?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, may I ask Mr. Harmon to come forward and be used as a prop for demonstrative evidence purposes?
All right.
And may we relocate a chair to the center of the courtroom in front of the jury?
Sir.
Mr. Harmon, would you mind?
No objection if it's okay with Mr. Harmon.
Yes, may the witness step down and may Mr. Harmon remove his coat? Mrs. Komar, can you, let me see, I don't want to, let's maybe turn this a little bit so we don't have you backwards to some of the jurors. If you can, if you demonstrate with you standing behind the subject, and if you can amply reach everything you need to testify that way, would you show, for the jury's benefit, on Mr. Harmon, where you found bullet holes in Mr. Mallory's shirt?
There was a hole here at the shoulder and collar seam. There was another hole forward of that in the collar. There was a hole in the back of the right arm and under the right arm, two holes adjoining each other. There was a hole in the right chest and a hole in the left chest.
All right, with regard to the, first, the two holes in the collar, did they appear to be made by one bullet?
Yeah, they appeared to be.
Objection, Your Honor, unless it's to a reasonable degree of certainty.
Yeah, further credit, thanks, sir.
All of the questions I'm about to ask you, would you assume that I have the predicate, in fact, will you take into account the predicate that this must be within a reasonable degree of scientific certainty in the field of crime analysis and residue and bullet hole examination? What do you call that? There has to be a shorter word for that.
I'm not sure.
All right. Would you let your answers be each based upon the accepted standards in your specialty field within a reasonable degree of certainty?
Objection, vague field, Your Honor.
Objection overruled, go ahead.
Thank you.
Do you have an opinion as to whether or not more than one projectile went through the collar?
The two holes were related. The one had a ring of lead around it, which is consistent with bullet passage. The hole in the collar had powdered residues, which is also consistent with bullet passage.
Okay. And in your opinion, those two holes were made by one or two projectiles, correct?
Yes.
What about the next set of holes that you saw?
The hole in the back of the right arm had powder particles around it. The two holes under the arm had the lead residue, which is consistent with the passage of a bullet.
And would that indicate more than one projectile for the holes going through the arm and up under the armpit?
They could be related. It could be that one projectile passed through, or it could be that more than one was fired.
Okay. And with regard to the holes you located on the front of the shirt?
The front of the shirt, both holes had gunpowder residues, consistent again with the passage of a bullet in each of the holes.
And is it your testimony that all 6 holes about which you testified were placed in the shirt by a bullet fired from a firearm?
Well, it would be a total of 7 holes. Possibly fewer than 7 shots.
Okay. But in any event, each of the holes by which you testified resulted from a bullet being fired from the shirt.
That's correct.
If the shirt which you examined had been worn by a human being, a male, in the normal fashion that which such a shirt would be worn, can you show the jury the approximate position that the target individual would be in as the bullets struck him?
Objection speculative, Your Honor.
If,
Objection overruled.
assuming that the individual is sitting in a car behind the steering wheel.
Your Honor, objection assumed.
Objection overruled. Answer the question if you can.
This hole in the back of the sleeve would be consistent with an entrance hole, which would mean that the muzzle of the gun would have to be aimed at the backside of the shirt here.
Let me slow you down. With regard to arm position, with regard to the exit under the armpit, is there anything that may reasonably be inferred from your investigation as to the position of the arm?
Only that the muzzle would be on the backside of the arm.
Okay.
The 2 chest holes, again, had gunpowder residues, so that the muzzle would have to be directed toward the holes in the front of the shirt. The collar, the outer surface of the collar had the gunpowder residues, and again, the muzzle would have to be directed at the collar in this area.
All right, if you would, take Mr. Harmon as he sits, and based upon your investigation, how far away and in which direction would the shooter have been if Mr. Mallory were sitting as Mr. Harmon is now?
Well, the arm shot would be from this side, going in that direction.
All right, and what about the next shot?
The next shot, again, the entrance is here, so somewhere in this area, again, less than 6 feet away. And then the same also.
Mr. Harmon, would you turn towards, and again, assume the position of the shooter. From your examination, could those shots have been fired at the place you found them if Mr. Mallory was facing the shooter in the direction he is now?
The chest shots could have been fired from this position. The arm shot could not.
And what about the next shot?
The next shot, maybe.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon. Make the witness stand down back to the Mr. Harmon stand down.
Turn, stand ready.
Your Honor, may I use the easel momentarily?
Yes, indeed. That takes 2.
Your Honor, may the witness stand down and approach the easel?
Yes.
Ms. Komar, again, remembering we have jurors to the would you show the jury on Mr. Mallory's shirt where the bullet holes about which you testified were found?
left chest hole is here. The right chest hole is here. The two holes, joining holes in the armpit are here and here. The collar hole is here. Second hole in the collar at the seam line is here. And the back of the right arm hole is here.
Thank you. May the witness return to the stand, Your Honor?
Okay.
No further questions.
Counsel, you may inquire.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Tanner just asked you to do a demonstration, or actually had one of his assistants do a demonstration, and he asked you to assume that the individual was sitting down as if sitting in the front seat of a car. You, in fact, have no idea whether the individual was sitting in the front seat of a car, do you?
That's correct.
You cannot determine from your analysis whether or not that was the case.
That's correct.
You don't know whether he was standing, whether he was moving, or anything else except that he was within 6 feet of the person who fired that weapon.
That's correct.
I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Tanner,
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
and then keep the witness from to be excused.
She may be excused. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Ms. Stand the clerk, you are under the rule, ma'am, that is not to discuss your testimony of the case.
He didn't ask bad questions because she can't determine the order of the round, where they hit, how they hit, what the guy was sitting, standing, running. I mean, it's kind of like, and I thought the firearms examiner was good. He just said, like, he was honest. No, I can't for 100% tell anything. Unlike when I was listening to him, all I could think of was Delphi, because they're like, well, oh yeah, we matched the round to an unspent cartridge with a fired cartridge. 30 years later, that's where they landed. It's ridiculous. I thought the firearms guy was good, just because I thought he was honest. Also, don't think the defense asked bad questions of them. They asked what they could, which is, you don't know the order, and you don't know what Richard Mallory was doing when he was hit, for lack of a better word. No. I mean, Gabby can. Gabby can order the flower dress if she wants to. She could probably go to a vintage store and find it. Yeah, I do think yes. Do think there is a mental defect there. I don't know what it is. I don't know how much we're going to hear about her childhood. And so far, have they, other than probably proving up to this point that, yeah, she was there, she did probably fire the weapon, have they proven anything else? I'm wondering if it's her testimony that's going to make it so, well, other than her confession, which we know about, but they don't know about yet. If you're sitting on that jury, where are you sitting at right this moment? Because have they said no, there's no way that she was doing that in self-defense? That's her defense. I don't know. So we have not got into the heart of the trial yet. That is first witness probably will be that it's going to get us into that direction. It's going to be on Friday. Her girlfriend Tyree or Tyra is we're going to watch her testimony on Friday, and they're trying to put her in there. Maybe she was there. Why would she have any papers in Richard Mallory's wallet? Kind of weird, but I don't think she ever had any charges on her for any of this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. You guys are over here talking about Lori Vallow and Sarah Boone. Dear Lord. No. Flashman. You'd believe Sarah Boone self-defense before I believed self-defense here. Oh, I thought you were talking about Lori Vallow. I would be opposite. Absolutely opposite. Because we don't have video evidence of what happened with Aileen Wuornos. And we do have a lot of video evidence of what happened with Sarah Boone and how she treated poor George. So I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. But, who knows? I don't know. If she was hitchhiking only and the guy thought that he needed payment for his ride that he was giving her, maybe it was self-defense. If she really had 250,000 people that she had transactions with, then it probably wasn't self-defense. I don't know. We weren't there, and the people that were there are no longer here. And if Aileen Wuornos was still here, would you believe her? Even if she could tell you today without more evidence? I don't know. But I said I was going to try to keep these shorter. I'm going to do that today. I had Gabby on standby in case my power went out. It hasn't, so I'm not going to push my luck. And I want it to, I've had that happen before. I have been live and my power has gone out. And I text Gabby, like, I don't have any power. And the stream was still running and they were all just sitting there chatting. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't do anything. Fortunately, wasn't out for very long, but it was kind of strange because I just disappeared and the stream kept going. Well, it was fun for you. It was not, I don't know. I wasn't part of it. I was not part of the fun. I was scrambling, waiting for everything to reboot and come back. And, yeah, no, I'm not worried. The wind is really bad here, Dara. I don't know if it is in your neck of the woods or not. I can tell you where the snow went is where my sister is, and that is Minnesota. She left here last Friday and went to Minnesota. I'm like, yep, it was 68 degrees here yesterday, but it wasn't that warm because it was cloudy and windy. And up there, I'm like, you're getting a blizzard. No, you do not need a 44-hour stream. No. Yeah, yep, I am getting the wind for sure. My sister's getting the snow and wind. I don't know how much snow they've had already. They're still under winter storm warning. But it was so funny here yesterday because, like I said, it was 68. It did not feel like 68. The sun was not out. It was cloudy and it was windy. But people were like, it says 68. All their car windows were down. Like they were just like, it's summer. I was like, it is not. It is not summer. You guys are crazy. My windows were up. Hey, Zach, how you doing? You get back from the great state of Colorado to the great state of Texas yet? And if you have, did you see the Greencastle exit along the way? No, you didn't. I know you didn't. I don't know. I don't know, Flashman. I think we would find something though. Your friend Atticus had a tornado hit his town. Where is that? I know Texas. I think Texas. Wasn't there some bad weather in Texas yesterday? I don't. Back in warm old Texas, I'm sure. Old man. I didn't say that. Flashman did. Oklahoma. I knew there was something. I knew that there was bad weather all around. I saw Ryan Hall, y'all. He was live for a very, very long time following the bad weather. You guys are in, I guess can't do it. You guys are in danger of bad storms and wildfires. Like, so I hope you don't get any of those. Tornadoes in North Texas. Okay. We are approaching the end of this month will be the 2-year anniversary of a tornado that we had that passed about a mile from us down the road and completely demolished a house. The people inside were not hurt. There was a little girl who slept through the entire thing because her dad was knocked out when he went to get her so they could go down to the cellar. It was a really old house. And when him and his mother came through, they just said they looked up and it was just sky above them. So their house was completely demolished. Nobody was hurt. They lost everything. Our cars were thrown across the street into the field like a aluminum can. It was crazy. They are finally getting a house built right now. Super nice. I'm really happy for them. I don't know where they've been for 2 years, but there was them and another person next to them that lost their house. And they are both finally just now starting to get back to it. So it takes a while. And that thing was like 4 football fields wide. They said it was huge. It was massive. We just had some branches come down. But anyway, nobody cares. That's just my stuff. But you guys stay safe out there. I'm going to stay safe and hope my power stays on in here. I can finish up some things. I will be back Friday. We will watch Miss Tyree Moore. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it, Flashman. We need to I just haven't figured out how we can do it because they're so long. It is so long. It is so long. So hopefully I will have my granddaughter Friday, so hopefully she will behave and let us get through Tyree's testimony. It's about an hour again. I think cross of her will be very interesting. Maybe. Hope it's not a letdown because she's only on stand for an hour. So, and then once we get through all of the prosecution, Miss Wuornos does take the stand. So we have that to look forward to. And maybe that's where this is all going to fall apart for her. I don't know. I don't know. If you haven't already, if you can please smash that like button on your way out, I would appreciate it. It is not a 12-day testimony, I promise. And I posted everything to Rumble yesterday, so if you're watching on Rumble, I appreciate it. I am trying to do better about getting things posted over there. It's really hard for me to dual stream because I need one more monitor so I can watch what's going on Rumble, and I don't have that right at the moment. So I will upload this in just a minute over there. And so if you're watching over there, if you could hit the like button over there, I would appreciate it. Other than that, I think that's all I have. You know what? I forgot I do Rumble sometimes too. I feel horrible. Then I'm like, hey, here's a whole bunch of videos. Sorry, it's been 6 weeks. I don't mean to do that. If I had another monitor so I could watch it, I would dual stream both. Sometimes I run into problems where it lags and it's just a mess. So it's just easier for me to upload them. But anyway, we'll be back Friday at noon Eastern time, 11 a.m. Adair time, 10 a.m. about said p.m., 10 a.m. Sir Frank Potter time, 10, 11, 9 a.m. Chrissy time, and 1 p.m. Tracy time. I think I got them all. I don't know Thai time. I don't know. 16 o'clock. So, yes, everyone have a great day. If you're getting some weather, please stay safe, stay alert, pay attention. I want you all back. And go enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys again